this demonstration we're going to look at modifying the default boot images that we get with System Center Configuration Manager. Once we've modified them, we'll then have a look at how we distribute them so that our devices can then utilize the boot images as part of an operating system deployment. So what we have to start with is, as we can see here, we have two default boot images. We've got boot image x64 for 64-bit devices and x86 for 32-bit devices. As the majority of operating systems that we now deploy are 64-bit, let's just modify to start with the boot image x64. So we right click, we come to properties. Within the properties, what we have is on the general page, we just have general information relating to this boot image. If we then click on the images tab, what we can then see at this point here, we can see information relating to the image. So we can see the image properties itself, so we can see the operating system version, architecture and so on. Then what we have is, if we have a look along here, we have the drivers tab. So one of the things I want to do at this point here is I want to import a driver into this boot image. I'm going to deploy this image finally out to a Hyper-V virtual machine. So one of the things I want in this boot image will be the network driver for Hyper-V. So we'll select our new button. Then what we'll do is we'll turn off the tick box to hide the drivers that are not digitally signed. And what we'll do is we'll include the Microsoft Hyper-V network adapter. So select OK. As you can see, we've now pulled that in. Then what we'll do is we'll just come to the customization tab. So one of the things we can do here is, as you can see, we can enable pre-start command, whatever that may be. We can modify the background to give us a sort of corporate image at this point here. And what we can also do down at the bottom here as well is we can enable the command support testing only. So we can go into a command line. Windows P scratch space, we're going to use 32 meg for the scratch space, so temporary files. We also have our data source folder. So in the case of the data source folder, we can see exactly where the boot.wim file is located. What we could also do as well is we could update distribution points on the schedule. We could persist this boot cache in the client cache, so we could have other clients pulling the boot.wim file from a client that already has the boot.wim. We can enable differences changing and replication, and we can deploy the boot image from the PXE enabled distribution point, which is what we're going to do. If we look at the data access tab, on the data access tab, we're just configuring here how the package will be stored on distribution points. So happy with everything in here. We're not specifying any package share settings, so we won't turn on this tick box. If we then look at the distribution settings, when we distribute this out, we're just going to give it a medium distribution priority. We're not going to enable on demand, and we're happy to automatically download content when the package is assigned to distribution points. We then have the content location tab. Specifies content location. We haven't actually distributed out this boot.wim file yet, but if we had, we'd see the distribution point in here. Optional components are exactly that. So what we can also do as well is we can also include additional settings within here. So if we scroll down, for example, we can see what's already in here. But what we can do is we can also add additional components. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down and let's just add in the Windows PowerShell support. It's just telling us here that the following dependent components are also enabled, so .NET. So we'll select OK. Select OK. Final thing is if we click on the security tab, we can see who has permissions to actually manage this boot.wim file. So we're happy that we've modified everything within the boot.wim file, so we'll just select OK. It's just telling me that we've made changes. So do we want to update everything? Yes, we do. So on the general page, what we're going to do on the general page at this point here, we're just going to leave the default settings. We're not going to reload the boot image with the current Windows PE version. We're happy with all the settings down here, so we'll just select next. Summary page, happy on the summary page, select next. Then what we'll do is this is just going to progress through. So it happens fairly quickly. But we will just pause the presentation while we're waiting for this to complete. As you can see, it's now complete, so let's select close. What we'll also do as well is let's modify our 32-bit image. So we'll just come to properties at this point here. And all we're going to do on this one is we're just going to leave the general information. Not bothered about anything in images. I'm not going to add any drivers at this point here. But on the customization tab, what we will do is we will enable the command support testing. Data source, we'll leave as is. Data access, again, leave as is. Same with distribution settings. We haven't distributed it yet, so we don't see any distribution points. In the case of our optional components, what we'll do is we'll add in the PowerShell support again. And also select OK. Not going to bother modifying any security, so we'll select OK at this point here. So yes, we do want to update. Select our next button, read through our summary and select next. And again, we'll just wait for the progress to go through. So again, we'll just pause the presentation just while this completes. Now complete, so we'll select close. Now we've modified those boot images. What we'll do is we'll just highlight both of them by using my control key. I'll right click and I'm just going to distribute this content out. Select our next button. We're just going to add in our distribution point. Our distribution point is going to be lon-cfg and select OK. Happy with everything, so we'll select next. Read through the summary, select next. Progresses through again fairly quickly. We'll select close. If we just highlight our boot image x64, we can see it's currently in progress. If we have a look at our boot image x86, got there a bit quicker. Back to x64, still in progress, so we'll just pause the presentation at this point and return back when we're successful. And as we can see now, we have both boot images successfully distributed out to our distribution point, and that's the end of this demonstration. Thank you.